to what extent does this set back the chances of a deal, at least the phase one part of the deal, the fact that this summit has been cancelled?
Yes, I heard this information last night with some surprise. And however, I understood the Chile government put the safety of Chile people and all participate for APEC Summit safe as a top priority. So question is, after cancellation Chile meeting, how the APEC this year process? I appreciate very much Chile government did a lot of efforts this year to promote APEC mission. That's particularly to promote trade and investment. That's rely on all APEC members' efforts. 21 economies hard work with the whole year. We really hope that continue the process, promote the trade and investment program with APEC target. That's important for all APEC members.
Mr. Zhu, let me just interrupt. Is the phase one part of this trade deal at risk now because this summit has been cancelled? Does it reduce the likelihood that President Xi and President Trump will sign this agreement, this initial agreement, in November?
So, regarding your questions, I would like to emphasize 2 points. That's point number one. A few days ago, the third round of trade negotiation had substantial progress, and both teams released the news is emphasized the substantial progress has been made. And we really believe under the principle of mutual respect, mutual benefit, Chinese team and the U.S. team and the leadership of two presidents will got the real progress to promote understanding and to finalize the agreement. As phase one, yes, that's after that 13 round negotiation, both teams continue keep very close communication, including principals meeting last week, and they also promised continue have phone call conversation. Simultaneously, the both working level work very hard. We really hope that keep the momentum, particularly based on mutual respect, mutual benefit. The progress can be made more. And regarding the cancellation of APEC Summit, I would like to say that's how around the both presidential meeting that's really need both sides diplomatic channel have real communication. This remind us again the communication between China, US in diplomatic level is so important. We must enhance the communication.
As you underscore, the communication is ongoing, the talks are progressing, but where is the tariff question in this? Has China asked for punitive tariffs to be removed as part of that phase one deal?
So that's because that's communication is really between the two teams. That's a trade negotiation, as I know, both sides. That's very close to the private conversation, and that's very important this time. And for the mission or general goal, certainly China wish after whole package of agreement reached, that's imposed tariff will be removed. But for interim progress made, we will come and detail the subject to both negotiation team to decide.
Now, Mr. Zhu, turning from trade to the domestic economy in China, what do you see as the biggest challenges, seeing as how we've had further deterioration in economic signals, such as the PMI numbers that we just got for October?
So you see that's the new PMI data, and I understand that the global economic situation really face the pressure slow down. For Chinese economy, first 3 quarters GDP growth is 6.2%. Yes, that's indeed, that's lower than before, very high 2-digit growth. However, I must say 6.2% growth in the major economies in the world is the highest. And China should continue promote structural reform and the more opening up policy be implemented. We really hope the next year, 2020, China will make dramatic reform and the opening up policy. That's including very beginning of next year, China will implement new foreign investment law and with the already very much the detailed implementation agenda. Also, you can see whole financial sector reform with the detailed data from January to the whole year until December with a very open Chinese financial market. We believe Chinese economy, the fundamental is good, and with very strong resilience, China through our extreme effort and also more opening up to the outside will continue the healthy development.
Minister Zhu, how do you see the relationship, the future relationship between the US and China, given not just the trade questions, but also the tensions over national security, over technology, and increasingly over human rights, issues around Hong Kong, issues around Xinjiang that were brought up by Vice President Mike Pence in his recent speech? How does that affect the relationship going forward?
Firstly, China emphasized very much the relationship with the United States. President Xi emphasized build up a new model of major economies and also mentioned many times cooperation is only right choice between China and the US. And in this regard, we would like to emphasize mutual respect, mutual benefit is really in line with the Chinese interest and the US interest. China as a country, we are formally follow the principle, formally protect our core interest. That's national security, national sovereignty, and the developing interest. That's co-interest. Anybody against that, we will formally protect our interest. So we think some point Vice President Pence against China totally groundless. And he should back to the fact and based on principle of mutual respect, mutual benefit, equal treatment each other to develop China-US relations.
Minister Zhu, how concerned are you about the reputational damage for China on the global stage from the human rights abuses that we are seeing in Xinjiang?
So Xinjiang and Taiwan and Hong Kong is certainly Chinese domestic affairs. We are strongly against any country to do something damage our domestic interests. And China as a country, we are really firmly stand to protect our core interest. Xinjiang case, you can see that's real action against the terrorism. And 3 years now in Xinjiang, you never see some terrorist accident happen. That's hard effort by Xinjiang local government and the Xinjiang people. That's highly respect the interests of Xinjiang and the Chinese people. I also think that's really the part of global combating terrorism, and that's so important relate with the global peace and development. And any that's some bad words, some wrong information should be corrected.